Um, Sorry, starting about 5 minutes late today. I do apologize for that. Just gonna do a quick setup here. So, if you're joining us from Facebook, from Twitch, from YouTube, please say hello. The chat is right here. So, starting now, today we have a very quick we're going to have a very quick concept that we're going to be looking at. Well, quick depending on how much time we're gonna allocate about an hour for that. And then depending on some of the reaction in the chat, we can see if we need to go deeper, or if we need to cover some additional concept to just make sure that everything is right. Okay, so bear with me. I'm gonna do a quick setup here, and if you are new, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't get any calls, any distractions. I want to be fully focused and fully committed to this live stream. So let me turn off the notifications here real quick and put it on do not disturb. There you go. So for the folks that are gonna watch this later on YouTube or anywhere else, and for those of you who are coming for the first time, my name is Adi, and I am the JavaScript guy on Twitch. I have been coding JavaScript for the last 16, 17 years, something like that. And every single day, we're learning something new with it. And the frameworks are very good, but then that's just one other thing to learn. And basically, my stream is going to be very reactive. I get some of you reaching out to me directly on Twitter, sometimes on some other channels, and telling me, hey, I have been looking at this concept and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'll look at those concepts with you, because at the same time, I might not have all the answers, but you're gonna see, hey Zurify, how you doing, man? So what is that with that panda? Is that the sad panda face that you have? Is that the sad panda you have for the for your icon right there? That's cool, man. So hello Zurify. I think I hope I'm saying the name right. So the serious, oh, that's your serious face. That's cool. So you are here to learn. Ah, there you go. So that's from the We Bear Bears. That's really cool. Okay, I'll have to check that out then. So it looked a little anxious to me. Don't be anxious. I want you to come with a big smile. And this is gonna be about basically learning concepts together. And then from there, basically, we can start building smaller applications. But once you get the concept right, you're gonna see how to use it basically, in your day-to-day JavaScript. So today I want to cover what we call partial function application. When you talk about it that way, it might not mean anything to you at all, but you will see some very good use case that we're going to be using it with JavaScript. So I'm going to push over the chat to the left here, to one of my screens here on the left. And I'm going to start a new window. This is the one that I'm going to share with you guys, because that's the one we're going to be using to code and to do other little fun stuff. Alrighty, so let me now add this screen here. So share the screen. And you're going to see Mighty Google coming up pretty soon. There you go. And what else do I need? Yeah, okay. So one thing that we'll do first, what is partial function application? Some or like point-free composition. Let's do a quick search. Last time I showed most of you that whenever I do a search on JavaScript, I use the Mozilla Developer Network or MDN for short as the context that I will search it, because they just have some of the best documentation and some very concise but well-written articles. MDN partial function application. So let's just get a theoretical view of what it is. And so MDN doesn't have one. Okay, let's really quickly look at what this article on Medium is talking about. I just want to get to a general definition. Okay, and I haven't written in Medium forever. So yeah, so functional programming is there. So I did not want to make it about functional programming because I think it's a whole other subject. But let's just look at this base definition and see if we can extract from that with examples. So partial application is after taking a function which takes multiple arguments and locking in some of those arguments, producing a function which takes fewer arguments. Okay. So that's basically what it is. That's a good definition, actually. So if you have a function that takes, let's say, so it takes two arguments here, the exponent, which is going to be a number, and the base that is going to be a number, so this is your base function. But we can do a partial. So if we always want to make sure that we always have an exponent of 3, we can partially lock in that argument, and then we are done. Anytime we want to do that, so I'm gonna show to you, like, in practice, what does it look like. But yeah, that's a very good definition, and I think, like, it's very concise, and it's gonna make a lot of sense when you get to see it. Okay. So we're going to start very small. Let's go to VS Code or wherever you guys have an IDE. So for example, somebody last time, because we have some international, we have people from all over the world, and somebody was telling me that they don't even have VS Code or an IDE. They want to follow along, but they just don't know, like, what to use to follow along. There are now so many, like, online code editors that you can use. One of my favorite is Stack Blitz. So if you just go to Stack Blitz, yeah, so just go to Stack Blitz, and when you get there, you can just go and start a new app. And for the most part of what we're doing today, you should be okay with just like a static HTML, JS, and CSS. And then basically you have even something that looks like VS Code in here. So go to Stack Blitz if you don't have a built-in like editor, and then just follow the steps, and then you can get started here. And mostly we will be working with the index.js file, and then the console, anything that you put in the console. This is the console here on the bottom right. And then you can just see, like, anything that you write in the console will show up here. So yeah, I had somebody from the audience last time who was asking about that. Okay, but for those of you that have VS Code, Visual Studio Code, I highly recommend having it. I think it's one of the best IDE for a web application developer, or like a web developer in general. Okay, so let's just open VS Code. And from VS Code, let me just open a new window. Okay, and we're gonna create a new file here. So I have my new window. What is this? Okay, let's cancel that. Let me just make sure that I have saved this. And then let's just get rid of this, okay? So, come on now. All right, I just want to see the entire IDE right there. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to create a new file. And I'm just going to save it right away, save as, and I'm going to call it, where am I right now? Somewhere, I usually have a code folder. That's where I put all my code. But I'm on a new computer today. So, okay, let me just create a new folder. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to call it code. And inside of code, I'm going to call this partial application.js. And yeah, let's just make sure that it's JavaScript. There you go. Let's save that. All right. So let's say that let's go back to the definition that we had from that article, which says this. So we will have it as a comment. So we'll always have it as our context, okay? So let me copy this and let's go back to here. And I'm just going to open up a block comment here. Actually, I think if I put 2, yeah, then it will open up a block comment. And then here I can have it. And yeah, let's just make sure that it's properly formatted. Okay. All right. So, and then on top of it, just to have something that we will use a little later, let's take the function from the article. Okay. Because we're gonna get back to that. But I want to start small to get the concept right. So let's do this, and let's just say example. Control V. One last thing that I like to do anytime I use somebody's stuff, make sure that you don't claim. I mean, that's just like, ethically right to do this. So let's just copy this because I did not write this part. So example from, there you go. So wherever, give credit wherever credit is due. So he gave us like this definition. So let's separate it. So we can separate the definition from like the example. So the example, this is a normal function. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to show you, first, let's go by example, and then we're going to go to the why. So we're going to do like the how, and then we're going to get to the why, So let's say we have a function here, and we call it multiply function multiply, just multiply. Let's just call it multiply. So multiply, let's say we'll take 2 arguments, x and y, and then it will return x times y. We can assume that we're always going to get numbers. We're not going to do like, checking here or like, people sending in like string instead. Let's just assume that it's always going to receive like valid numbers in order to make that multiplication. So if we do log multiply, so log multiply, what is it called again? 2, we can expect our function to give us 4. All right, so far so good. Pretty easy, pretty good to go. Now, we could just like open up our terminal and see this on the console.log, but there's a cool extension. I think it's called Coca. The Coca.js, yeah. That's a very cool extension. So let's install that real quick. And pretty much what it does, if I go back to here, let me see if I can just do, Coca here. Yeah, so run on save. So yeah, so the run on save is only available for the Pro Edition. So it's very cool because it shows you in line what your console output would be. So, but I think that they kind of change it, not that it almost forces you now to get like the pro version. So let me see if we can get anything out of the regular version, if that's even something that that makes sense for us to use or no. So let's see here. Multiply should have like shown me. So okay, Coca is not doing anything for me at this point, so I'm just gonna have to go through the terminal. So maybe they have something that is gonna do new JavaScript file, allow access. Okay. All right. So let's not try to. Okay, I don't know. I probably should have like checked better how to use it. So let's just use the terminal. So I'm here. Let me go back to my list right here. And let me open this folder that has my code. So I have a code folder. Oh, that's the one I was looking for earlier. You know what? Forget about it. So I'm in, let's go to my terminal. I'm here. Let's just go cd code. Okay. And from here, I want to do node, run just a node instance of partial application. And then you see that whole mess that we just talked about, just to have this 4 printing up here. So if you're on VS Code sometimes and you want to have your terminal be on the right, because most of the time for some programs like this, I don't like having my terminal on the at the bottom. Just right click directly on terminal and then just do move panel right. Okay, now I have it here. Okay, and I can get rid of the left side right there. That gives us some space. So we have this function multiply, and basically you pass it 2 argument, and then it will take the first argument and multiply it with the second argument. Pretty straightforward. Now, what if I had a functionality where I want to multiply by 2 every single time? So let's say I repeat this, control copy, control V, control copy, control V, control copy, control V. I mean, we could use a loop, but just so you guys can see. So if I do multiply by 2, multiply, and I do here for 3, here I say 5, and here I say 10. Okay. So if I run this, if I save this and I run it here, we see 4, 6, 10, 20. That's great. But the 2 is always repeating itself. So can we create a specialized function based on this one that is always going to multiply by 2 anyway? Can we lock down the first parameter? And that's exactly what this locking in some of the argument. Can we lock in the first argument and create maybe a specialized function that is going to always multiply by 2? So let's create another function here. And this time, let's declare it this way. And we're going to call it multiply by, yeah, let's do some good camel casing here. Multiply by 2. So this function, the name is very distinct. This is very intuitive. It's very explicit. I mean, just by looking at the naming of the variable, we know what this function is going to do. Every single time, like you look at this, you know that whatever you pass in there is going to be multiplied by 2. So now I will just take the multiply function, you know, and then pass it like 2 as the first parameter. Okay. So now I have taken, taken basically, I'm partially using this function because I'm not using all the arguments, and I'm setting up the first I'm basically setting up the first argument to always be 2. Okay, so let me try this real quick and make sure that I did it right. And what I always do though, with the live streaming, I try to really do it from scratch with you guys every single time. So then if I make a mistake, you see how I go about fixing that mistake. So really, I mean, I have the concept in my head, but I really try to code it from scratch with you guys because I do feel like there's a lot to be shared about, okay, making a mistake and then fixing it, or like finding out, how to get yourself out of trouble, like in general, because programming is just like that. That's what I do from 9 to 5. And then it's just not something that I memorize. So I'm more about the concept. So let's do multiply by 2. And then we send in 3 here. But I believe that I need to do something extra, so that it might not work. So let me just see if I have this right, which is console.log. So console.log multiply by 2. And then let me comment these guys out real quick. Control S. Let's go back to my terminal. All right. So you see him telling me multiply by 2 is not a function, because the way that I'm using this right now is not like a function. I just made a call. So, and I need this to be able to return a function. Okay. So let me go back to the article and look at a quick square is passing x, and x is going to be, okay, so this is what we're going to do exactly. Because it has to return something. So square is passing x. There you go. Power 2. Okay. So square is going to be a function that is returning. Okay, that's what we need to do. So let's go back here. Instead of just that, we're going to do a function. I mean, we could use like arrow functions, but I want to be very explicit right now. So that's going to be a function, basically, that is taking an argument. Let's say it's going to take an argument here, function x. And then we can lock the first one by saying multiply 2 and x. And it's going to return multiply 2 and x. So you see that whatever you pass to x, which is going to be passed right here, no matter what you pass to x, the first argument is always going to be 2. Okay? So now let's do multiply by 2 again. Control S. Let's clear out here. And you see now multiply by 2 is going to give me 4. So now if I copy back this guys, Control X, okay. So let me take these guys here, V. Let's comment them out. Let's take the comments out. Okay. Let's do that. Let's take the comments out. And then this time, instead of having multiply whatever, like this first two, all we're going to do, let's replace all of these instances with multiply by 2. So we can do the multi-cursor selector, just Control D, D, D here. And then we will change it to multiply by 2. Let's get rid of the comma here and just put the parent, opening parent here. Okay, so now we multiply by 2. We don't need to repeat the same one here. Let's get rid of that. We expect now our console to have 4 for the first line, 6 for the second line, and then what do we have here? 10 for the for the other line, and then finally get a what is it called? A 20. Okay, so let's run this first pretty quickly. And then you see 4, 6, 10, 20. But basically what we have done, we have taken a base function, and then now we have created a specialized function from that base function. So the good advantage is that you can see, like, why go through this whole trouble? We can take we can think about, if I was to test my program and doing unit testing, I can do like a unit testing for multiply very easily, but at the same time I can now have a very simple like unit test like written for multiply by 2, and it's a very specialized function. So now I'm locking in. I know that like all I need every single time, because this can be imported from a module, a utility belt module or something like that. And if you know that some of the arguments of the function are never going to change, you just lock this argument down. Okay. So, and I can show you something even cooler when you do this. If you had a bunch of like this, let's repeat this as an array. Okay. Let's repeat this as an array. So let's say, let's call it like, let number table equals, and then let's pass the same thing that we had here, 2, 3, 5, and 10 as an array. Okay. So now we want the number table to be multiplied by 2. So let's say we're going to take let tables for table. Basically, we want the same array to go and then be multiplied by 2 for each of their indexes. So let's double tables equals. Usually you will do something like this: number table at map. And for this map, you will pass in a function, you will pass in a function, and let's say that function is, I don't know, you're going to map, and then you're going to pass in the very first index, which will be the x, and then you're going to say return, basically multiply, okay, your x that you have, let's say, and then 2. You're going to pass in the second argument. Okay. So when you do this, then you can log your doubles table. I mean, when I say log, I should have said console.log. So if we do that, what we're expecting as an output for doubles table is going to be the same 4, 6, 10, and 20. Okay. So that's what we're expecting to come out for double stable. All right, so let's save this. And then you see here we have the line right here. So double stable. Actually, this should have been like a comment. And when we log this, we're saying like, let me just do this doubles. I'm just gonna call it doubles for just for logging, so you know that's it's coming from here. Just to put a comma right there, and then CLS. And you see, so now we're taking an entire array and then we're going through this type of like, setup, but the thing is, the functionality is built in here. If we wanted to extract that same functionality outside of this becomes very hard to do. I mean, this functionality is inside of the mapping, like, element that you have here. And now imagine that you had to do way more than this. And I'm going to show you an example. Let's say not only you double stuff, but then after that you filter stuff that are going to be more than something. Okay, so how can we rewrite this? By taking the principle of like partial function application. So the one thing that we can do, the mapping function is basically this setup is going to take one argument and it's going to pass it into basically the second the function that you have here. So we can rewrite this pretty easily by just I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to take this guy, comment this guy's out. And then here, instead of doing all of this setup, all I have to do is say multiply by 2. That's it. That's all I have to say. So if I put it this way, multiply by 2, what the mapping function is going to take is going to take this function multiply by 2 and pass it every single index as an argument. And now multiply by 2, what is going to happen is that the first argument, which is the first index, is going to be passed and it's going to return me the 2 times x. Okay? So if I do this, Control S, and then I come back here, I'm going to get the exact same result. Okay, that makes it very clean. It makes it very clean for you to use. It makes it very encapsulated in a, I mean, not encapsulated, but it makes it very isolated for you to reuse or to change. So let's say you had, let's say you had like a payroll application, and then during the holidays they wanted to maybe just change from paying people like twice a bonus and they pay them 2.5. You can make a specialized function for the holidays just to do that, and then maybe like call it multiply by 2.5 or whatever else. Okay, so that's a very good way to think about function application. So the other thing is, let's say we had another, we have like a way of filtering like people who are going to be adults or not by their age. So let's have a function here, and I'm going to show you the chaining here. The function, I'm going to call it like well, let's just call it is adult. It's Friday afternoon. I don't have any creativity left in my brain, so bear with me for a second here. So let's call is adult, and then some people might read that like something different, but man, if you twist it, I cannot do anything about it. So is adult, and then you're gonna pass in like let's say an age. Okay, and then So we're just going to return age greater or equal to 18. So if you are an adult, if you are at least 18, then we can consider you an adult. Okay. So now the number table here, let me change the number table. That's fine. Let's keep the number table as is. And then this time I'm gonna have, let's say I'm gonna start at 4, then I'm gonna have 9, then I'm gonna have 7, then I'm gonna have 11, then let's say I'm gonna have 16. 16 is already there. Then let's say I'm gonna have 10, and let's have 2. So basically what I want to do, I want to double this number table and then filter it out after I have doubled it with the ones that are like adults numbers. So that means that 4 is going to become 8, 18, 14, 22, 20, and 4. But then 18 and 22 and 20 are the ones that are going to come out of this chaining right here. So now that we have number table map, then we're going to chain it to the filter method here. And then the same thing we're going to do, we're just going to pass, since filter is, what is it called? Since is adult is taking only one parameter, only one argument. Since it's taking only one argument, we can just like put is adult right there. Okay. So this though, whenever you are passing in a function like this inside an iterator, it's just called like this part is called point-free composition. This part that we have done, this is called like partial function application, and it's good. It's a good combination that you can have with point-free composition. Those are the two main concepts that you can like think about today, and then start like applying into your everyday learning. So let's say now I'm gonna take this out. And when I run this time, if I say console.log, no, it's not going to be a doubles table anymore. Let's say double. I'm really big on like naming things, being very intuitive about the naming convention. So the thing is, we doubling everything, and then we're filtering anything that is we're filtering out anything that is less than 18. So what would be a good name for that? Double and legal. So okay, double and legal. Let's call it that. Sorry if that's cheesy or that's like crazy, but that's just me. So double and legal. We'll read that. Let's copy it. Come here. We're gonna log it out. Double and legal. So now what we're gonna expect from it is 9. We're not gonna have 4 times 2 is not gonna be equal to 18, but 9 times 2 is 18. So we're gonna expect to have 18 as part of the array. 7 times 2 is 14, so it's disqualified. 11 times 2 is 22, so that's gonna be part of the array. 10 times 2 is 20, so that's going to be part of the array, but 2 times 2 is 4. That's not going to be part of the array, okay? So let's do this. Let's come back here, and let me clean up the console real quick, and let's run this one more time. And then just exactly as we expected it. Now, well, I call it doubles here, so I'm going to call it double and legal. Ah, man, I cannot type today. Double and legal. There you go. So double and legal gonna be what we just said. And basically what we have done is we took number table, we mapped it. So the mapping is to transform a function, to transform the items in your array filtering is basically filtering out whatever doesn't match, whatever matches the condition. And the condition that we have put here is adult. So you can see, maybe you are already seeing the power of having something like this as a utility. You can think about base functions basically like that. What is the bare minimum to have a base function? So if we go back to the example that we were looking at from the article from Medium, and then let me just give the guy or the girl his or her credit. What's their name? Okay, that's Joseph Junker here. And then if we go back to the example that was shared in his article, let's take that now. Now that we have a quick concept of what it is, let's take this function. Actually, all I need to do is take it out here. Control Z. Let's make sure I have the entire function. Yep. So let's get rid of that. And in here, so he has what is it called? He has a function called power, and we have this little wiggly thing like the ID is telling us something is wrong. But this is just because if you think about it, if you had TypeScript, if this was a TypeScript file and then we have typings included, then we can say that we're expecting a number, and then even like what's the type of it. So since we are not using TypeScript, all we're gonna do is we just have to get rid of these guys. We don't need them right now. And then the base, let's get rid of it. And then the return type, we don't need it here. We will cover TypeScript like at length in some other time. Okay. So now the power function basically takes an exponent and a base. Okay. So now we can do a few things here if you are starting to get a gist of what it is. So let's say we want to have a specialized function that is going to always have a base 3. So it's going to just let's say like it's going to have an exponent of 3. So let's say that like every single time whatever we have is going to go to the it's going to be the cubic power. It's going to always have an exponent of 3. So I can now create a new function, and I'm going to call it constant what is a good way to say that? Qubit function. I mean, I don't know, man. I am totally banking out. Cubic. Yeah, whatever. Cubic function. For lack of a better, constant cubic function, or like power to the cube, whatever you want to call it. Make it something that makes sense to you and the people you work with. Cubic function, yeah, whatever. So cubic function is going to be equals to basically a function, and I can use if there's no binding, no this, you can use. I want to show the second way of writing is just with array function. Basically, it's gonna take whatever you're passing in and then raise it to. So it's gonna take a base. Okay. So let's just say it's gonna give me a base. Okay. Just be very explicit. I want the base for this. No, I want the exponent. I want the exponent. So you're gonna pass me an exponent, and I'm gonna return my power with the exponent that you have passed in. Let's see, is that right? So he has power, let result equals 1 for let I return result. Let's see, result equals 1 for let I exponent. Okay, so basically what he has a cyclic wherever you start, he's giving you like he's basically giving you like so if you started at 5, it will go down to, and she give you every single time. So I don't want that I just want a simple this is what I want basically. So basically he's cycling. So to get an exponent, let's say you get 3 there. This is right. This is the right way, because he's cycling it however many you put for the exponent. So if we do 3, it will go 3 times, whatever, like it's gonna cycle. So that's good. So now if we're passing the exponent, there you go. So I think what did I say? That I want the exponent to always be 3 cubic. So the exponent should always be 3. So if you give me, then what I need is a base. There you go. If you have been following along, we should be passing a base, because I want to control the exponent. So now I'm going to do power, and I'm going to lock in 3, which is going to be my cubic, and then I'm going to pass in the base. Okay? So when I do this, okay, and I say log, which is going to expand to console.log, and I say cubic function of 3, this should give me 27. Okay? So let's save this, Control S. Let's come back here, CLS. Yep, and it gives me 27. Okay? So anytime I pass in, like now that I have my specialized function, cubic function, I control now the exponent. The exponent is always going to be 3. It's locked in. It's not going to change. The base is the one that like you can pass in an argument for. So this is this is a very powerful like concept. I could do the same thing for quadratics, and I can do like whatever I want in that sense, to create my specialized function by partially applying. So partial function application only works if you partially like apply the argument. So if you were to pass 2 arguments here, there's not going to be, that's just redundant, because you are already, whatever you do, cubic function is always going to give you this. Okay? So the thing is, and of course, that's not true. Let's give the base here. But if you were to give it like 2 arguments, if you were to get 2 arguments from here, then it will defeat the purpose. So for partial function application to work out, basically you will know the number of arguments, and then you can pass the rest to it. Now, there's an exception where you could maybe just, if you had, let's say, X number of arguments, you could just like use the rest parameter and then like send it in. So you could do, for example, let's not cover that part for today. I'm thinking about if you had a number of arguments, you could just say like, I want, actually, let me give you a good example, and we're gonna stop there today. So let's say I'm gonna give you one last example. Let's say we have a function that is like, let's say you are building a game, okay? And then in that game you have families, families of dinosaurs, Why dinosaurs? I have no idea. But let's say you have family of dinosaurs, and then you have anytime you create a family, you have a papa dino, a mama dino, and then you have like the kids after that, basically. Let's say, and I'm gonna call it Dino Family. Okay, and then the very first one is Papa Dino. Okay, Mama Dino. Okay, and then here I do dinos, so that's gonna be the kids. So dinos is gonna be an array of dinos is gonna be an array of the kid's name, basically. So, and here we're gonna say um, um, Papa Dino. Like, let's do something very simple. Let's do console.log, and let's use like a template strings here, and let's say that's one happy Dino family, and here we will do with Papa, and then the name of Papa Dino. I have no idea where this came from. Hey, Zurify, if you're still on, man, let me know if you're following along. And if you're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, yeah, come into the comments, if you are following along. If you have any question, let me know. And then I'll be sure to address those. Because we have, let's say, about 5 more minutes, and then we'll take it, we'll just call it. This is Friday. We can take maybe another few more minutes. As long as you guys have a few questions, I'm happy to respond to those. So that will be with Papa. So that's Papa Dino, here with Mama. And that will be Mama Dino, whatever the name is. And and here what we're gonna do is we're gonna take dinos, we're gonna join it, because it's gonna be we're gonna expect an array to be passed in there. Actually what we're gonna do is we make sure, if we want to make sure that's gonna be an array, we're gonna use the spread operator. So whatever you put, whatever many argument you pass after Mama Dino, those are gonna be like captured in this Dino array. So Dino.join, and then Dino.join, we're just gonna do a little comma and a space. So it's just gonna put whatever that list is, it's gonna print it out and then separate it with a comma and a space. Okay. So let's do Control S here, and let's say, since we have console.log inside of it, let's just call Dino Family from here, and then let's pass in T-Rex, or I'm gonna call Papa Godzilla. I don't know, man. Is Godzilla even Godzilla is not even a dinosaur. I don't know what is going into me right now. I'm gonna call Mama Jurassica for Jessica. Okay, and now, however many I put in here, I'm gonna call you Trouble. The second one I'm gonna call Fiery, and then the third one I'm gonna call Icy Chill. That's a cool family, actually, if you really think about it. You don't want to mess with them. So if I save this and I go back, CLS, Okay, so it says that base is not defined. Where did I put base somewhere? Let's just make sure. Yeah, here. I don't need to put on line 21 console. Yeah, power. Yeah, I don't need this here. Yeah, but be careful. So that's fine. That's not like what we are looking at, but just make sure that the rest of the program still works. So let me clear this out again. Okay, so my oldest one I like, okay, that's one happy dino family with Papa Godzilla, Mama Jurassica, and with Trouble Fury Icy Chill. Okay, so we have that. Now, let's say we wanted to lock in the name of Papa and the name of Mama Dino. So what we will do, let's say we're gonna create a function and we call it constant the Zillas. Man, this is so, I mean, like you guys should stop me at some point. And then I'm gonna call it that. And then basically, if we follow the same concept again, and I'm gonna do two last things. I'm gonna use the Zillas where like we're gonna lock in the parent names, and then the second one I'm gonna lock in the child. We're gonna do the other way around. No, this is good because yeah, let's say they just keep on having like new kids. So the parents don't change; they just having new kids. Okay, so constant the Zillas. And what I'm going to do here is if I follow the example, I'm going to pass in, that's going to be a function that is going to take basically it's going to take the children, it's going to take basically the children name. Okay. And I'm going to pass in the dinos here. All right. And what I'm going to return is dino family. And in dino family, I'm going to put Godzilla. That will be the name of the dad. I'm going to put Jurassica, the name of the mom. And then I'm going to pass in dinos. Okay. So dinos is what you put in. If you go to the Zillas, the mom and the dad are always going to be Godzilla and Jurassica. Okay. So when I do this, now, if I say the Zillas, and don't forget that Dino family has a console.log, so we don't need to call it again here. So the Zillas, and all I have to pass this time is the kid's name. So I had Trouble, Fiery, Icy Chill. I'm going to say like um, um, Volcano is one of their name of the kids, the new kids. Um, um, Happy Berry. Man, I don't even know where I'm coming from with this. And then let's have two more, if I can do it. Egg cracked. And finally, I don't know. How be cool to have a kid named Tomahawk. Why not? All right. So this one, I have a partial function application where I'm always gonna lock the name of the dad and the mom, and then the kids I can pass in something new. Okay, so let me save this. Let me run this one more time, and then you see now it tells you this join. Why the join is not giving me a space after? Yeah, so Travel Fury Icy Chill, but then that's funny. Look, I get a space here for the first one, but I don't get a space in here. Funny thing. So dinos join. That is a funny thing. I mean, the most important part is like you see that now Papa and Mama are still going to be Godzilla and Jurassica, but I just have an artifact here and I'm not figuring out why I don't have my space in between. Actually, I have a space. It's just not that big. Yeah, there's a little space in there, I believe. No, there's no space. So when I did the join here, I needed to have a space. So then I can have a nice list. It did it on the first one, but did not do it on the second one. That is funny. That's something that is, if you have an idea why, let me know. But that's as much as I wanted to show today. I know it's Friday. A lot of you are already tired. It's been a long week. But that's partial function application for you, you know. And then we looked at what we call point-free composition, which is basically you passing in like the function that is going to be used by your iterator here. And be careful when you're using those because you need to know what your iterator is going to pass in. Is it going to pass one argument or multiple arguments? You know, so be very careful if you're doing point-free composition. It is very nice, very succinct, very concise, but can lead you to a bug if you don't use it the right way. And you can always control which parameters you want to lock. Most of the time, for the most part, you're going to be locking the parameters, the arguments from left to right. But sometimes too, you can do it. You can just like go the other way. You can go from the beginning, from the end to the beginning. All right. So that's what I had for you today. Thanks for stopping by. Once again, my name is Adi. I am the JavaScript guy on Twitch, adding on most of the social media out there, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, YouTube, ADYNGOM. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 5:30 p.m. Okay, so follow me, like these videos. Let me know what you are encountering as a JavaScript developer, no matter what your level is. And if I know the answer, I'll make a stream about it. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you, or we can even like find out together, and then like help each other out that way. Thank you for stopping by, and I see you next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye. All right. So